In modern chemistry, certain compounds stand as defining milestones in our understanding of energetic materials. First of all, trinitrotoluene, commonly known as TNT, marked a huge turning point in industrial chemistry and applied energetics, becoming a foundational reference for stability and performance. Then, RDX, or also Research Department Explosive, followed as a significantly more powerful and efficient compound, reflecting advances in synthesis and molecular design during the 20th century. Then we get to something called CL20, a further leap forward, an exceptionally dense and high energy material that continues to be studied at the forefront of energetic compound research. The funny thing about energetics research is that once you make something new, you can kind of just name it whatever you want. So, this is how I made the compound that I named after myself, JZX1. Now, JZX1's a little weird and a little different than normal energetic materials because of these fluorines on it. And normally, fluorines are really, really difficult to actually install onto a molecule, as you can see with this weird chemical right here with these NF2 groups. Those NF2 groups are actually incredible for energetic performance, but in terms of actually being able to use them in any meaningful way, you kind of can't because it's just such a pain to actually put them on something. So instead, what makes my molecule special is how easy it is to make. So let's make it. Making it is a two-step process. So first, what we're going to do is make this trifluoromethylaminotriazole, and then after that, we're going to nitrate it to get the product. To make it, we only really need these three things. We need about 30 grams of aminoguanidine bicarbonate, about 24 mils of trifluoroacetic acid, and about 240 mils of toluene. Setting it up, I start out by getting this 500 mil hybrid round bottom inside of a heating mantle using Movie Magic. I add the 30 grams of aminoguanidine bicarbonate to the hybrid round bottom, and then I take the 240 mils of toluene and proceed to wash it all down off the sides. Just helps get it all in there and increase the overall yield. When you add the trifluoroacetic acid to the solution, it's a little bit finicky because as you're making the aminoguanidinium trifluoroacetate, you're losing your bicarbonate as carbon dioxide. So it'll make a lot of bubbles very, very quickly. So you need to add it really slowly so that the reaction doesn't run away on you and get everywhere. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. And as you can see, it bubbles up a little bit as it makes some of the carbon dioxide, and then it goes back down, and then you add more, and you just carry on ad nauseum until it's fully added. As this is a condensation reaction, and water is detrimental to progression of the reaction, I use a Dean-Stark condenser. And the purpose of the Dean-Stark condenser is that as water is made, it actually distills both the water and the toluene over. And they're not miscible, but toluene is lighter than water. So it collects the water on the left-hand side, and you can easily drain it away from the reaction to keep it as dry as you can. So I'm back in a day later. Let's just look at this real quick. Like 20 mils of water. Huge. I got 33 grams of solid. That's really not bad at all. And now we're on to the nitration. For the nitration step, we need about 5 grams of the trifluoromethylaminotriazole and 10 mils each of sulfuric acid and fuming nitric acid to set up the nitration. What we do is first take 5 grams of the trifluoromethylaminotriazole and we slurry it in 10 mils of the concentrated sulfuric acid, and we have to get that below 5 degrees Celsius. Normally when you add nitric acid to sulfuric acid to make some kind of a nitramine or anything, you don't want it to get above 5 degrees Celsius, but really I found for this reaction, as long as you keep it under or around 10, it'll be completely fine with no adverse effects to the yield or anything. After letting the reaction stir cold for about 30 minutes, you take it out of the ice bath and you allow it to warm up to room temperature, where you let it stir at room temperature for 2 hours. The next steps for working up the reaction, because now all we have is a nitration mix full of the product, is to first quench the reaction in a bunch of ice water, followed by an extraction with ethyl acetate, drying the ethyl acetate with magnesium sulfate, then evaporating the filtered off liquid, then taking the residual solid, suspending it in pentane, and filtering it to finally get our product. And we did it. We ended up with 6.022 grams for a total percent yield of 92.9%. Now let's burn some. As an energetic material, it's not going to be the best just because it's no RDX, it's no CL20, but at the same time, it's special because you can take just average chemicals, like I've shown, and turn them into something pretty cool. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully soon.